Dragon Ball Super episode 120 is now officially in the history books as we make our way towards the final episode of Dragon Ball Super in 2017, that having to be Dragon Ball Super episode 121, and joining me here today for the last time in 2017 to talk about our predictions and thoughts going into next week's episode is going to be my good friend Bubbles, as we are going to more or less talk about the events coming in the upcoming episode. So if you guys have different thoughts and or opinions to share, drop your comments down in the comment section below. Bubbles, welcome back onto the channel. We finally get to see Unreal appear, as we've seen via the, Jump Festa magazine scans, and we've seen several different leaks and reveals for Unreal, but we didn't really know as to who he was and, what he was doing in the tournament. So now that we have official confirmation that Unreal comes from universe number 3, what I wanted to ask you is, going into next week's episode, which is supposed to be the final episode of the year, what are your thoughts and expectations as we get to see Gohan, Goku, Vegeta, Android 17, and even Frieza get involved in fighting this character? Now, I'm pretty sure just as many others, we've noticed that Goku is using Super Saiyan God. And obviously based on Dragon Ball Super episode 120, he's recovered his stamina. So there's a chance that Goku can still continue. What I wanted to ask you is, what are your thoughts and expectations going into next week's episode? Do you think it's possible that Android 17 might be eliminated? Because there was one sequence in particular where we get to see Android 17 drop, and what I wanted to know from you is, what are your predictions going into next week's episode? What are your overall expectations, and how do you think they're gonna defeat Unreal as we move into Dragon Ball Super episode 121?
I think that as long as Universe 3 is kept around, that we'll be seeing still Android 17, so I don't think he's quite going out next episode. But I do think Unreal might have a little bit of a good fight against Universe 7, which I am excited to see. Of course, I noticed that final clip of getting to see Super Saiyan God, which has to be the thing that I'm most excited for, getting to see whether it's just 121 or it's going to be the upcoming episodes like after that we're gonna get to see Super Saiyan God. I think it's cool because, we got to see the ongoing struggle with Goku to regain his stamina. So getting to see him finally back in not just a Super Saiyan form, but in Super Saiyan God,
right,
I am extremely excited for. I think it's gonna be cool because I feel we're finally gonna get played into that teamwork for Universe 7 that we should have had since the beginning. I think now that once Gohan had his little bit of a shine episode in 120,
right,
when he wrung out the other competitors, I think that now that he has this little sense of power, that he got the most recent ring outs, that it's definitely going to be interesting because he's gonna want to pull in that tie for a teamwork type thing again.
Right.
And so I feel that's why when we get to see Vegeta and Frieza in the preview get asked for help, I feel like that's definitely where the teamwork factor is coming in again.
Now, what I wanted to ask you is, seeing Unreal, we don't know how strong he is, but it looks like he's going to be very strong because he's actually even competing in having a beam struggle with Frieza, and I honest to God, did not even expect to see Frieza actually involved. And I covered this on my channel earlier when we saw the official leak for Dragon Ball Super episode 121, and we saw Frieza stand next to 17, Vegeta, and Goku and Gohan, and I didn't really think that Frieza to me was going to get involved. And now we finally see him involved, and it's about time because one of the biggest problems of this tournament is not seeing certain characters capitalize and being useful, like for example Frieza. So what I wanted to ask you is, where do you see Frieza's placement? And by the very end of it, who do you think is going to be eliminated? Is it going to be 17? Is it going to be 18? I want to get your thoughts on that because I really do believe that somebody is going to be wrung out, and I think that person may be Android 18. I'm not so sure about 17. I mean, I think that they want to preserve his character a bit more, because I would love to see 17 fight Dispo, fight Topo, because it was confirmed by Goku in episode 120 that he said, okay, it looks like we really are going to fight Universe 11 in the finale after all, and there's 10 minutes left. So who do you think is going to be eliminated? What do you think Frieza's position is going to be? And how do you feel about God Goku having to like legit get beat down into the ground?
I really wanted to see 18 stick around with 17 because I feel like their teamwork is, you know, their teamwork is not comparable to anybody else's. Like they have like the way they move together and the way their actions together,
right,
together are some of like the best like teamwork fighting we'll see out of any of the Universe 7 characters. Right. Maybe other than Goku and Vegeta when they truly do work together. So I think that it would be tactical to keep 18 still around because it would be a great aid in having 17 fight Topo or Dispo. However, with the way things are looking, and especially in that one frame where you only see the other fighters and 18's not in that frame with them.
Yes.
That's what points to me a little bit more that 18 might not be making it past 121. So, I mean, obviously, like, I would hope to see 18 around more, but after I saw that image and that part in the preview and, like, seeing that that's actually gonna be canon and played in, that was my thought of, okay, well, if Universe 7 is all grouped together, where is 18 in that image, you know? So, honestly, I don't think she's gonna make it past 121 just because of that sheer factor. And moving forward...
What about 17, though? Because we see him falling down, and... I mean, based off of assumption, I mean, there's nothing around him. I don't know if you noticed that. Like, there's nothing around him in terms of, like, a platform for him to land on. So I'm only assuming that he's out. How would you feel if 17 is out and 18 is kept in?
Well, I wouldn't feel anything too bad about that because, just on, like, past prediction videos and things like that, like, I've said a lot of just waiting for 18 to get out because they kind of gave that hint with her getting injured.
Right.
So it's kind of that character where we're like, any minute she could go out, and I kind of don't feel like there would be too much hurt in losing her because, you know, we've been expecting this for several episodes now. And, so to see 17 stay and not 18, that's more understandable than had it been the reverse and seeing 18 stayed without 17. But I definitely think that what I caught in 120 is I believe it was the Kaioshin of Universe 3 saying how, like, don't they get tired? Something like, he said something along the lines of that, like, you know, doesn't their stamina end?
Right.
And so I think that in a way kind of gave us a little bit of, I don't want to say foreshadowing in any way, but, you know, something that they were not prepared for in Universe 3. Like, they weren't prepared for another universe to have characters that simply don't get tired. So I think a lot of, whether it was Aniraza or it was the other merged fighters of Universe 3 that has this, but I think one of them definitely has a form of unlimited stamina to the point where they just keep letting the opponent attack them and don't do anything about it.
Right.
Because they were definitely too shocked to see 17 and 18 not tiring out and just giving attack after
I mean,
attack.
that was great. Seeing their sequence, I think, in episode 120 was perfect because they kept blasting that dude. They kept blasting him, and I loved it because, you know, the robot, you have to give respect to the robots because they held their own. Like, they legit held their own. And I felt like, okay, the one that was fighting the androids, I mean, he did what he could, but for the most part, you gotta give him respect because he hung in there until his armor broke down and the androids threw him out. Now, going into next week's episode, I think that there's going to be a level of, you know, Super Saiyan Blue-like power that should be used to defeat Aniraza, because judging based on what we're looking at now, Aniraza could, you know, be safely assumed to be roughly around Super Saiyan God level, which I know might piss off a lot of people, but just please hear me out. In the preview, we see God Goku in a crater. In a crater. You've seen it too, Bubbles. A lot of us seen God Goku in a crater. He's laying there in Yamcha position. He's hurt. Even though it looks like he is trying to fight back, this guy, this entity, this beast, is not only fighting a final form Frieza who is significantly more powerful than any other character there, but also he's fighting everyone at once, because that's the imposing threat. So what I wanted to ask you is, how do we get rid of Unrealeza? Is it going to be any of the Universe 7 fighters that clear him out? Because it doesn't have to be. And the reason why I say that is because, what if Jiren is the one that eliminates Unrealeza? Because people tend to forget that, hello, we have Universe 11 members still in here, so what if Jiren is the one that gets tired of this and eliminates Unrealeza instead of the Universe 7 warriors, thus establishing Jiren's character even more and getting the job done alone, as opposed to what everyone else was doing the entire time and trying to work together but not getting the job done? How would you feel about that if Jiren was the one to eliminate Unrealeza as opposed to anybody else?
See, personally, for a character like Dispo or Topo to eliminate Unrealeza would be something that I myself would enjoy a tad bit more, just because, you know, Jiren has already established that his character does what he's told and only does what he feels is worth his time.
Yes.
And unless if they're truly making Unrealeza such a strong character that Goku and the gang are truly gonna have a hard time with him, I feel that the Universe 11 fighters have no reason to step in. And I feel like, especially as what we saw from the Universe 11 fighters in the episodes before the tournament, when they were still gathering characters and they were gathering up the Pride Troopers, was that, you know, like, they're fighters for good, and they're fighters that step in when they know that they're needed, like that kind of thing. So I feel like, you know, unless if something absolutely happens to the point where they feel that Universe 7 can't hold their own anymore and they need to step in to get shit done, then I don't see a reason for Topo, Dispo, or even Jiren to step in.
You don't see a reason at all. I mean, even though I agree with you, yes, I agree in the fact that there isn't a reason for them to be involved, but then again, it's like you are eliminating a very powerful potential character, that being Unrealeza, you know, especially if he's supposed to increase his power, increase his speed to just epic proportions, you know what I'm saying? I just feel like it'll be a little unpredictable to see Jiren do that, because the last I think we've seen from Jiren eliminate someone who wasn't from universe number 7 was Hit, which you're a big fan of, and Majikayo. And that was basically it. I mean, he hasn't really done anything after. So, you know, like, what are the chances of us seeing a combined effort of Super Saiyan Blue having to be used? As wacky as this may sound, do you see Unrealeza beating Goku down so badly to where he gets, you know, Ultra Instinct perhaps? What I wanted to know from you is, where do you see our warriors going into next week's episode in terms of, like, what it would take to defeat him? Because if it's not going to be Universe 11 and Jiren and Topo and Dispo, then who from Universe 7 do you believe is going to be the one to eliminate Unrealeza from the tournament, you think?
Well, just to finish up with the talk on Universe 11, was also the fact that when Topo allowed Brienne to transform because he wanted the fighters, you know, he thought transformation was beautiful.
Which was garbage, I'm sorry. That was garbage, man. They wanted the fighters
to be in the highest level that they could be, you know? And I think that looking back on that now is obviously, like, you just want to play it down and be like, oh, well, Topo was just saying that because transformations are beautiful and he's weird. But when you really go back and you rethink about that, it kind of makes sense to say that nobody from Universe 11 would step in with this, because of the fact that if there's a possibility for Unrealeza to get any stronger, or if there's a possibility that while fighting Unrealeza, that Goku, Gohan, Frieza, any of them could be getting stronger. There's a possibility still with Unrealeza in the ring that other characters could be getting stronger. And I feel that since Jiren has that motive, and since Universe 11 knows already, they have Jiren on their team, and Jiren is obviously one of the strongest, if not the absolute strongest fighter currently on the field.
Right.
That, you know, they don't have to be worried for how strong a character is gonna get. They don't have to worry about Unrealeza giving this transformation that might be so overpowered. That's never gonna be an issue for them, because they know they have Jiren on their side that could beat literally anybody. So I don't think that ever the power is gonna be a struggle. And as far as Universe 7 goes, I definitely want to see Gohan get another elimination.
Really?
Because it made sense when he said that he really truly wanted Vegeta and Goku to save their stamina and to save their strength.
Right.
And he felt like that was the best use of his time. He felt like getting rid of the quote-unquote side characters to leave the main struggle for Vegeta and Goku. He felt like that was his place in the tournament. And honestly, I'm kind of starting to believe that as well. That all of these other characters are obviously the ones that are going to boil it down to be left with Jiren and Goku again.
It's going to be a bloodbath if you think about that. Because,
Yes.
listen, it's going to be a Universe 11 versus Universe 7. And if Jiren doesn't clear house, I mean, because someone's bound to. And I think that, honestly speaking, Jiren is going to be the one to get the most eliminations, I think, than anybody else. Because considering that there are so many people left for Universe number 7, and there's only 3 for Universe number 11, I think that definitively what may happen is I firmly believe that we're going to get to see Jiren clear house as we go into episode 122, 123 into the new year.
That's the only thing I disagree on.
Really? Why is that?
I feel that Jiren truly will only fight who he believes is of his standard. I think he's the kind of person that has enough respect to say, like, you know when they say, like, always picking on the little guy, like that kind of thing?
Right,
Like,
yeah, well...
he knows he can beat these other characters, so why is he gonna bother if it's not a struggle? Like, I feel like he's in it because he knows he's the best, and he only wants to fight people that are either as strong as him or can come to his level. And to be honest, I feel like especially after fighting UI Goku, which is one of the other fighters that we would say is of his standard,
Right.
that, you know, even that didn't satisfy him, because as soon as Goku was tired, he was like, you know, I'm done with it. I'm not gonna continue fighting somebody that's not, like, I don't want to waste my time fighting type of thing.
Right.
So I feel like for him to ring out the rest of Universe 7, first of all, is going against his orders from Vermound, because Vermound did specifically say to only fight those who you feel worthy to fight, and to only worry about those who you feel like are going to give you a challenge. And I feel like the other characters from Universe 7, the other fighters, are too smart to pick a fight with Jiren. They know that that's the kind of thing to where they're going to leave it to Goku, or they're not really going to worry about it unless if they absolutely have to. And I feel like Jiren's going to be the same way. He's not going to step in until he feels like he absolutely has to. Because also at the end of the day, I do truly feel that each of the fighters from Universe 11 know that it's a competition to where you have to have numbers at the end of the competition.
Right.
And at this point, they have their solid 3 fighters going for them. And I think they know that if they step in before Universe 3 gets eliminated, there's a possibility that their 3 could easily become 2 or 1. And then, you know, that's putting Universe 11 in jeopardy. And at the end of the day, each of the universes never wanted to put their universe in jeopardy by losing the numbers. And right now, Universe 7 has the most numbers. So I think it's to where they want to let it play out and see if Universe 3 is going to start eliminating Universe 7 fighters. And then once Universe 3, like if we see 18 go out, they'll see that Universe 3 is holding their own and not really want to bother. You know what I'm saying?
Right. But the thing with that is, I firmly believe that even when it comes down to numbers, remember, it's like Universe 7 does have the numbers advantage. So whether or not you want to preserve or not, there's 10 minutes left. So you have to go all in for this one. Like you can't hold back for this. I'm sorry. That's one of the many problems for the tournament is a lot of them are holding back. And I'm like, why? Why are you preserving something? And there's 10 minutes left. So I just feel like in the finale, all hell's gonna break loose. I mean, especially when we kick off the new year with Vegeta versus, you know, Jiren. That's gonna be insane. But to close things off, what did you think about Dragon Ball Super Episode 120 as a whole? Because I thought it was way better than Episode 119, which was garbage. And I didn't expect those robots to be like so cunning, and they were vicious. I mean, like when I was watching it at one of the wrestling shows, I was just amazed because me and a few other wrestlers were like, holy shit, like this is like the respect for them, but also respect to Gohan for, like, you know, having the balls to step in and legit throw down. What did you think about Episode 120, and how do you see the aftermath of 121 being affected as we go into episode 122 into the new year?
I think that for me, 120 summed up a good bit of the tournament, all in its own, you know? Like, it gave those characters that were underestimating other fighters, like the character, I don't know his name, the merged character that 17 and 18 were fighting. That guy, the one that 17 and 18 fought.
His name eludes me. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm not sure of it. But he was underestimating their abilities, and I feel like we got to see that a lot throughout the tournament, but I feel like it showed the most in 120 because he underestimated them so much to the point where he actually wore himself out waiting for them to get worn out. And I thought that was a really cool touch to get to see. And then getting to see when Paproni thought that he had Gohan, when he thought he had Gohan cornered, and when Goku and Vegeta swooped in to give a kind of diversion.
Yeah.
I thought that was also really cool to see. So I actually enjoyed 120 a lot more than I thought I was going to. I thought it was just going to be like a joke, kind of like seeing a Power Ranger type show.
I didn't even know what to expect, to be honest, because I looked into the episode and I was like, okay, well, they're gonna fuse and they're gonna get foddered. They fused, they got foddered, but now we have this guy, and I'm like, whoa, like, where in the world did this even come from? So essentially, like, do you think Unreal is gonna be around going into episode 122, or do you think 121 is gonna be it for him, you think?
I feel like 121 might be more of an introduction to Aniraza type thing. Like,
really? So you see him being around more?
In a way, I kind of hope so, because, you know, when it comes down to it, there's 10 minutes left in the tournament, so we should expect around 10 episodes left, like that sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, give or take, yeah.
Yeah, so unless if they truly have 9 minutes worth, because we know 121 would not be included in this.
Right.
If they have at least 9 episodes worth of Universe 7 versus Universe 11, then that would make sense. But I don't think that they're truly gonna drag out Universe 7 versus 11 hard enough for it to make up 9 episodes. So I feel like if they plan it to where 121 is gonna be like more of the introduction type thing for Aniraza, and then 122 is where Aniraza like actually gets wrung out, and that's where Universe 3 gets destroyed, gets erased, then that leaves at least 8 episodes, which is, you know, slightly less in numbers for the last 2 remaining for the tournament. Because I mean, obviously the tournament doesn't have to take up the entire time. Like if
well, yeah, because we have filler to, you know, do and whatever. There's a lot more to, you know, handle aside from the actual tournament battle after, you know, the Tournament of Power is over.
Right. So I mean, I don't know. I feel like definitely we can expect Aniraza around for 121 and at least 122. Or at least that's what I guess I'm hoping for, because I want to see a bit more of the other characters before we get straight down into the business of seeing Universe 7 versus 11. But it truly got real for me that the tournament was over when the bar in the middle of the tournament stage snapped down to the last 2.
Yes, the last 2. I mean, that shit was so high up in, like, when the tournament first started in July, that thing was all the way up there, and I'm like, wow, like, we finally come to the point where almost 6 months later, it's down to legit 2. So, I mean, like, any final words as we go into Dragon Ball Super episode 121, just to close things off?
I'm excited.
It's gonna be fun. Like, it's gonna be really fun. Like, I'm really hoping to see, like, God Goku in action. And
I want to see the teamwork. I want to see God Goku. And I really want to see Aniraza get his ass kicked.
Hopefully. Let us know what you guys think down below, guys. This has been the final, I can't believe I'm saying this, the final predictions video for Dragon Ball Super in 2017. Thank you all so very much for watching, guys. This has been Bubbles' you know, voice from Popo's bedroom. You guys can go on ahead and check out her Twitter and her YouTube channel. In case some of you guys are wondering, Bubbles is not a trap. She's actually collabing on a channel with you know, some of her friends on Popo's bedroom, so make sure you guys check that out. Thank you all so much for watching, guys. Once again, if you guys are new, punch that subscribe button, leave a like down below. If you guys have not turned on notifications, be sure to do so. Also, check out the official Inside Culture podcast. starting myself and Devil Artemis. I will leave a link to that down below. Subscribe to the podcast channel, guys. We're going to be talking about loads of different animes on there. It pertains to Black Cover, Dragon Ball, all sorts of different stuff. Naruto, Boruto, One Piece, you guys name it. Thank you all so much for watching. Once again, tune back in for more, and we'll be seeing you all down in the comment section. Have a great day, everybody. Peace.